What's up guys, welcome to the channel, and in today's video we are going to look into functions and docstrings in Python. So I'll quickly open my PyCharm ID and I'll make a new file, and I'll name this file as functions and docstrings. Functions and docstrings, and yes. So after this I'll write a is equal to 4. I'll make a variable and another variable named b is equal to 5. Then I'm going to make a third variable c is equal to sum, and a comma b. Then I'm going to print c, and if I run this, as you can see it is giving me an error because actually I'll have to put it into array. So that's how the sum function works. So the sum function is an inbuilt function and as you can see, if I print c, it prints the addition of 5 and 4, that is 9, and if I change 5 to 7, it will print 11. So as you can see, it has printed 11 as c. So that's how the sum function works. And guys, if you go into your PyCharm ID and if you press on control and if you click on this function, as you can see, it directs you to this page right here named as bulletins.py. So as you can see right here, the sum function is defined, and it states that it returns sum of a start value plus an iterable of numbers, and they have basically given a description of the function, and they have made the function to pass. So there is a function known as vars, as you can see. There is a function known as import, then generator, and these are the basic inbuilt types of functions. So guys, in Python you can make your own types of functions because these inbuilt functions are made by some professional programmers who have created the foundation of this language. For example, it may be the creator of this language who has made this sum function, or it may be the contributors of this language who have made this. There might be many people who have made this inbuilt functions, and it is really useful. So can we make our own functions? Yes, we can. The syntax for making your own function is, I'll first of all comment this out. So we can make our own functions in Python by writing def, that is define, abbreviated for define, and after that we need to name our function. So I'll name my function as func, and after that I'm going to put a blank bracket here, this parenthesis, this curly bracket, and I'm not going to write anything in it. I'm going to come out of the bracket and I'm going to write a colon, and then I'm going to press on enter, and as you can see I've entered the function. So guys, in if else statement, while loop, for loop, and elif statements and the function, you have to put a colon, just like a ticket to go to a movie theater. So just like that, you need a colon in order to get inside this function. So I am inside this function and I'll print I am inside func. After this, if I call this function, see guys, whenever you write func and parenthesis, you are calling this function. Whenever you write the thing that you have written here, you are calling this function indirectly. Okay, so if I run this program, as you can see, it has printed I am inside func, and then it has printed none. Why has it printed none when I haven't wrote here to print none? Guys, as you can see, if I remove this print statement and if I just call the func, it states that I am inside func, but now it does not print the none statement. Why does this happen? Guys, I'll give you an example by writing that this function, for example, takes in parameters a comma b. So in this curly statement right here, as you can see, earlier I told you that you should not write anything, but if I tell you to write a comma b right here, these are the parentheses, these are the arguments that you have to give to the function. So a and b are the arguments, and after that I'm going to print the sum of these two numbers is a plus b. After this I'm going to call the function, and if I call it like this, as you can see, it gives me an error showing that you cannot call the function without writing a and b inside the parenthesis. So I'll have to write something right here, for example 3 and 4, and if I print this, as you can see, it has printed that I am inside func and the sum of these two numbers is 7. And if I print func 3 comma 7, as you can see, it has also printed none. Now why is this none coming in these two cases? I'll go to my Paint 3D to explain it to you. Guys, as you can see right here, that this is, for example, the function. This is the function. And this is u. So guys, whenever you run a function, whenever you run func, please excuse my handwriting, but whenever you run func, the func has to return something to you. It can return something to you, for example an integer or a string, and we can make the function return something by using the return keyword. So I'll write return. So as you can see, by using the return keyword, we can make the function return something to you. For example, if you are borrowing a pen, you have to return the pen to the person whom which it belongs to, right? So that's how you are returning, and the function has also, and the function has to return also when you call it. So if I write here in the function return a multiplied by b, I'm multiplying these two numbers. As you can see, I'm returning the multiplication of these two numbers. And if I print this, as you can see, it has printed that the sum of these numbers is 7, but it has also printed the return value, that is 12. So as you can see, it has returned a multiplied by b, that is 3 multiplied by 4, and that is 12. So if I remove this print statement, and if I just call this function using 3 comma 4, it won't print 12 because I haven't told it to print the return statement, right? And if I run this program, as you can see, it hasn't printed 12. But if I want to store the return value in some variable, for example c is equal to func 3 comma 4, what does this statement mean? What does this thing mean? It means that the thing that this function is returning will be stored into variable c. So if I print c, as you can see, it is printing 12 because in c the 12 has been stored. And I'll write the multiplication as you can see. If I run this, it prints that the sum of these numbers is 7 and the multiplication of these numbers is 12. So that's how we can use functions. I hope that the return concept is cleared, and if you have any doubts, just write down in the comment section below. And if you want me to make another video about this return function, because guys, I have given enough examples, and now I think so we should move on to docstrings and functions. So if I put triple double quotes right here, and the PyCharm automatically detects that we want to write a docstring, so it puts a triple double quote right here as well. So inside these triple double quotes, I will write that this function returns the multiplication of the numbers and sum of the numbers, and prints the sum of the numbers because it's printing right here, as you can see. So I'll write and prints the sum of numbers. Now guys, what is this statement that I've written? Now some may tell me that this is a comment that you have written inside the function. No, this is not a comment. This is actually a docstring, and a docstring is really important when you go to professional level in Python. So for example, if a function is really important, and if the programmer who is writing the function wants to tell the reader about what this function is all about, he can create a docstring here, and the person who is reading the comment, he can print like a func and after that doc, and after printing the doc of this func string, this function, as you can see, I have printed the doc string by using the function name, and after that I have put a doc here. So as you can see, if I print this, it has printed the doc string that I have written here, that is this function returns the multiplication and prints the sum of numbers. That means that if a programmer wants to put a warning inside the function that this is really important, don't delete it, and on the professional level, if you go into Python, you will have a various number of functions in a code, and you cannot go to each function and check what is the docstring. So you will have to use this syntax right here in order to extract the docstring into function. And guys, it is a really good practice to write a docstring because it symbolizes a professionalism of a coder. So I'll make another function right here just for practice, and as you can see guys, I'm putting in a lots of effort, so please hit the like button, and I hope you are understanding, because if you aren't understanding, it does not make any sense. So write down in the comment section below if you are understanding or not, and I'll make another function, and I'll name it as AVG, that is abbreviated for average. And after writing AVG takes in 3 numbers or 4 numbers. Oh sorry, D. By the way guys, the argument should be different, so it should not be that A, it should be different. For example, ABCD. Okay, so I'm going to print the average of the numbers is, and then I'm going to end it with a blank, and after this I'm going to return, and I'm going to add these numbers, and then I'm going to divide it by 4 because there are 4 numbers in this, and I'm also going to make a docstring and write here that this function returns the average of the 4 numbers. Okay, so after this if I comment this out, and if I want to know that what does this average function does, so I can print avg.doc, and as you can see, it prints that this function returns the average of the 4 numbers. And if I write avg, and I'll have to input 4 numbers, so 1 2 3 4, and this will be 10, so 10 divided by 4 will be 2.5, but it will print, yeah, it prints 2.5. so as you can see, I have printed the return of this, and when I called the function, it printed that the average of the number is. So as you can see, they both have completely concatenated here, as I have printed the return value and the statement right here. So this is how we can use functions and docstrings into Python. I hope you guys understood today's video, and guys, if you haven't accessed my Python playlist, the link is in the description. I keep saying this because many people ask me in the comment section below that you have taught one topic but you haven't taught this or that. You are a really bad tutor. So I'm just trying to alert and aware you guys that I've made a Python playlist in English for you guys in simple and easy English. So this is a really good playlist and I'll add more videos to it. I hope you guys access this playlist and make use of it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.